All right, welcome back. Experts from Pacific Magazine, authors, real estate gurus, Glen Henderson, Shannon Keatley joining us in studio again for a special roundtable. Good to have you.
Thanks for having us.
I'll shake your hand because you're right next to me. We're sitting at a round table. I think that fits in well with the message of what we're going to discuss here. You know, we've heard us talk a lot about real estate here today, but real estate is not just the actual house. There's a mortgage, which is a debt. There's a financial plan. There's a tax plan. There's an estate plan. All these things happen around owning real estate. So we're gonna cover a lot in a very short period of time. But the Alliance Group, you guys rebranded last year specifically to kind of create that feeling of what you do for people when they're buying homes. So I don't want to take the words from you. Explain. I'll start with you, Glen.
Yeah, basically with Alliance Group, it's because we're aligned with the financial partners or professionals throughout all the industries that affect home ownership. And we don't just want to be the realtor that comes in and helps you buy a home, sells a home, and they're gone. But we want to help you establish what are your financial goals? How does the home ownership tie into that? And that's why we've aligned with all the financial partners throughout the industries, top level or top tier people, so we can help people establish what their goals are.
You guys speak on stage at events. You're on this show. You're all over the marketplace. Look, there's 17,000 real estate licenses. Without bagging on the industry too bad, do you see this not happen a lot, or how often?
It's rare, and it was fun because we were just talking right before the show with Steve Saxon and just saying that when Glen and I created Alliance Group, or had thought about the vision about being the hub of the financial, of the real estate, and then working with all the industries, we picture somebody like Steve that we can work with and have our clients that we can trust, and the clients can have a better experience with it.
So Steve essentially is a partner with you all, as someone that you can trust. Maybe they're saving up for their down payment and they don't want to tap into the 401k, get it penalized and taxed and put it down, or maybe it's after they're going to build all this equity. He can give the advice. So explain kind of what you're doing when it comes to real estate.
For example, somebody's looking to find a way to be able to afford the mortgage or qualify for it. I'll help them find ways to reduce their taxes, increase their income, reduce their fees on their investments so they can afford that mortgage. Or in the case where we have some people that might be looking to purchase additional real estate for rental purposes, and how to do that property to be in their best benefit.
Yeah, no, buying investment property, certainly when you got money moving from one property to another. We just talked to Bill Exeter on exchanging. You identified 3 key things, I believe it was, for just financial plan when you're looking to buy a home. Is that right?
There's with
so there's a lot more than that, but I know you identified 3 key takeaways.
Yeah, and it's with either you're looking at purchasing the home or selling the home. But some things you need to look at. It's your tax review, income review, and risk review. And these are the key elements of home ownership that we work together with partners like Steve, so that we're helping our clients review all of these components before they're getting into a home, or when they're evaluating their portfolio, whether it's one home and they're looking at buying an investment, or it's a client that has accumulated 10 properties over the last 20 years, and they're trying to figure out, how do I not become a landlord but avoid the taxes that I'm going to pay when I try and liquidate these properties. So those fall into every component of the home ownership, just differently with each person.
And it's forward thinking and thinking ahead and having the strategies that Steve brings to the table to be able to help these people, coupled with us and helping them with their real estate.
Well, let's look at some of the mistakes people make, because I'm sure there's many people that are watching right now that think, well, I didn't get referred to a financial advisor, or no one talked to me about qualifying or repositioning my equity to buy an investment property. Because often a realtor will get their commission and move on, and it's not to talk poorly on them, but that's just the nature of the business. So do you see people making mistakes for not having the advice?
All the time. For example, one client we worked with, she's about 45. The person at the office told her, hey, look, you need to go buy bigger rental property so you can have more rentals and all that. And she already had a house and a rental property, and she's like, I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to buy a duplex or anything like that, and I don't even know if it's in my best interest. So when she was talking to the agent, she was just holding way back. And one of Glen's agents referred her to me, and I sat down with her, illustrated, what if she sold both of them, 1031 exchanged one, into a duplex, and then lived off the person who was renting the other portion so they could not pay any rent themselves. And they figured out they can save $29,000 a year. And we also figured out every 3 to 4 years they can buy another duplex. Inside of 12 years, they'd be in a position where she would be able to replace her W-2 income, which means she had an option to work. Now, she probably won't stop working, but it'll enable her to have a wonderful retirement. So it's not only now, but in the future. Now, if she just went and made that decision without doing all that analysis, She would have had so much money falling through the cracks, taxes, the whole shot.
I want to put a perspective around this whole wheel. I mean, just in that response right there from Steve, he mentioned the real estate itself.
Yeah.
He mentioned, I heard the word retirement.
Yes.
I think I heard repositioning the equity. I heard rental income. If we could, let's take a look at the image that really is a representation of the Alliance Group. Shannon, I mean, so you're sitting down with a client. What are the most important things on the wheel here?
All of them are, Craig, to be honest with you, as you're going through this. And every client has different needs with everything. So we sit down with clients that, again, just don't know, especially new first-time home buyers, that don't know how important it is to have estate planning. Now they own one of the biggest assets that they'll ever have with that. And now there's tax things that they need to look at as well with it, and they just don't
estate
know.
plan is a must.
It's
and it's not just if you own real estate.
Oh, no.
An estate plan is just, it's the legal decisions around if something were to happen to you, your family, your kids, your home, if you have a home, your assets. I mean, it's important. If you're over the age of 18, you have $5 in your wallet, I think you should get one. It just makes sense.
And now you're making the decisions.
I was going to say, if you have more than $150,000 in assets, you need a will and a trust and estate plan because it's going to save your life, some of the documents. Other ones just says, hey, this is who this goes to.
You know what I think? I think it's one of those things that people know they need to do, but it gets pushed down the to-do list until it gets pushed off.
Absolutely.
Why? Because you're talking about, in some cases, death or
that's
being
it.
disabled. And so you don't want to think about it, but when you do, I've been through this process. It's kind of a cool feeling to know what you're going to be doing. It's an empowering feeling if that were to happen to you. I mean, you don't want it to, but who you're going to leave things behind to, who you want to take responsibility of your kids. Remember the Terry Schiavo case? And what happens to you if you become on life support? I mean, these things are important. Switching gears a little bit, I've talked multiple times on the show about baby boomers, 10,000 retiring a day or something along those lines. It's crazy. There's a tsunami coming through. In fact, I think you coined that.
It's fantastic.
It's called the silver-haired tsunami. Basically, what's happened is we have 88 million people over the age of 65 in the United States. 10,000 people a day are turning 65. So that means over the next 20 years, we're going to have 72 million people more turning 65. That's 40% of the United States. When 40% of the United States does stuff, it has financial implications. That means Social Security, Medicare. But it also means when these people retire, they're going to go to get a prescription, see a doctor, get a procedure, go visit their kids. When it comes to real estate, they're going to say, I got this big property, I'm going to downsize it. Or we heard Glenn say earlier, I've got all these properties, and you know what, I want to get rid of them because I just hate the renters now. And they have those issues, and they need to know how to deal with them.
Let's speak to the real estate. So what are you guys seeing out there?
We're seeing a lot of that example is the people that have accumulated all these rental properties and they're paid, they've been depreciating them, but they don't want to be landlords, they're tired of it, but they don't want to be paying the taxes. Or we've got the families that have lived in their homes for the last 20, 30 years, raised their kids, big homes that they don't need anymore and they want to downsize, but again, the capital gains. So that's where we're working together with Steve. We're able to help come up with strategies to help them avoid or defer a lot of those taxes and come up with a plan for their kids, their family, their estates.
And that's what it is. It's just not for them, it's for their children also, to know where the legacy of what their parents have accumulated all these years. They've worked so hard with this. We're dealing with sellers right now that have been in these properties 30, 40 years.
Well, here's the other big thing. You know what? People are married. Sooner or later, one spouse is going to pass away. And you know what? And you're the baby boomer generation. That's when the husband pretty much took care of everything, finances the whole shot. And you lose their husband, and you know what? Now you're the spouse, and you've got to make all those financial decisions, and you never did before. So you don't know the questions to ask. You don't know what you don't know, and you need somebody there on your side. That's why you need a team. It could be estate, taxes, a realtor, so somebody can step up and ask those questions for you. So when you make a decision, it's in your best interest.
Yeah. So I got bad news and good news. The bad news is you typically look at buying houses. We want to own a home. We want to build equity. We want to build memories. And now you just watch this segment with these brilliant experts, and you're like, God, I need an estate plan, tax plan, credit plan, mortgage plan, and it can become overwhelming. Here's the good news. That's why they've modeled the Alliance Group this way. Is these are things that are important, but it's empowering you. And so the fact that you have a turnkey solution to top producing professionals that have modeled their entire business, their company, their branding around that it's actually a lot easier on you. So
And
that's
it
a
is,
good
and
thing.
it's not overwhelming as it seems with all of this, where we have the solutions and we have the key people just like Steve that will be able to, that they're well vetted, that we trust, that we send our clients to.
Yeah, well, guys, we could talk about this forever. I hope to have you on the radio show on KCBQ soon to talk about it there. I'd love to have you on this show again. But it's a great way to finish the show here today, The American Dream. It's everything on the financial world. Being your consumer advocate, I'm committed to educating you, empowering you, and engaging you. If you have questions or anything from today, any of this information or anything else, go to craigsewing.com. And don't forget, we're going to be here next Saturday at 10 a.m. and on KCBQ every day at 6 p.m. Have a great weekend, San Diego.
Thank you.